Lieutenant General George Smith Patton and the Ghost Army. Sun Tzu quote, "As long as there has been life, there has been war, and with that comes deception through war." For instance, when Hannibal used deception to trick the Romans, and in the 19th century when the Union used deception to trick the Confederates. Operation Fortitude South was an important part of our history for its unique warfare tactics that has not been used since the 19th century. Although General Patton was not on the front lines in World War II, through his leadership and determination, he made himself one of the most important parts in World War II legacy. When George was a child, his life goal was to be a hero. His ancestors fought in the Revolutionary War of 1775, the Mexican-American War of 1846, and the American Civil War of 1861. When George turned 18, he went to West Point to serve at the Navy Academy. While George was in West Point, he went to the 1912 Winter Olympics in Stockholm, Sweden for swordplay. Patton's first military taste was in Mexico in 1916 when he was second lieutenant for the 15th Cavalry. When the United States became involved in World War I, Patton was in Fort Royal, Virginia as a trainer for new troops. When World War II came, Lieutenant General George Smith Patton led many troops through Europe. One of them was in Sicily. While visiting an infirmary in Sicily, he walked into it and there was a soldier lacking wounds but was mentally sick. This man's name was 18-year-old Private Charles N. Knoll. As he was sitting next to Private Charles, General Patton told him that he was a coward and slapped him. After that, General George Smith Patton was fired from the military from Dwight D. Eisenhower. In the heart of the war, there were more and more tactics of trickery. For example, a military base in Baltimore, Maryland, where B-27 bombers were built, they made it look like a countryside from the air, to keep from bombings from the Nazis. And another way of using tactics of trickery is by Churchill's ingenious plan of making a man-made iceberg as an aircraft carrier, although this never took off. The leadership of George S. Patton. When the Allies had to make a move, they turned to Operation Bodyguard, which had many different operations inside of it, but the main ones were Operation Fortitude South, Operation Fortitude North, and Operation Overlord. Operation Fortitude North was in the Scandinavian countries. After Patton hit a soldier in Sicily, he had been out of war since August of 1943. He had been called back from Dwight D. Eisenhower. It was not your conventional callback. Eisenhower wanted him to lead troops to Pas-de-Calais. This operation was called Operation Fortitude South. Other operations just like this have gone rather well, such as in 1942 when Operation Torch in North Africa led to the victory of the Desert War in Africa, with General Patton leading the charge. And in 1943 when Operation Husky landed Allied troops in Sicily, which General Patton also led the charge. But in this case, what was really going to happen was the real invasion on Normandy was going to act like it was fake, while Patton is leading troops with fake tanks and tricking the Nazis invading on Pas-de-Calais to make it look like the real invasion would be on Pas-de-Calais, but actually the real invasion was going to be on the Normandy beaches. As the Nazis wait for an invasion that is never going to happen, troops landed on Normandy on June 6, 1944. This day will be forever known as D-Day. Lieutenant General George Smith Patton and the Ghost Army's legacy. After the historic day known as D-Day was over, there was impact that has been done. Within a week of landing on Normandy, 1 million men have landed on the beaches. By then, they started storming Western Europe. The war was finally over. After the war was over, they found out what Hitler was hiding towards the Allies the whole time. The 45,000 Jewish men and women that have been tortured in the 15,000 concentration camps. The short-term impact of Operation Fortitude South is the lives of people that have landed on Normandy. Because of this, it has been estimated 40,000 more casualties than it would have had without the Ghost Army. The short-term impact on General George S. Patton was that he died on December 1st, 1945 in a Jeep crash. Lieutenant General George Smith Patton was the most colorful man in U.S. military history. The long-term impact of the Ghost Army is in warfare. Ever since the beginning of time, they have used deception through warcraft. But until the Ghost Army, they had not used deception through warcraft since the Civil War. The long-term impact of Operation Fortitude South is in tactics of warfare. Conclusion of General Patton and Operation Fortitude South. General George Smith Patton had some setbacks in his military career. However, he was able to develop military tactics to help the Allies win World War II. The perseverance and leadership of General George Smith Patton made him one of the most important parts of World War history. The legacy of Operation Fortitude South, or also known as the Ghost Army, is in warfare. The legacy of Lieutenant General George Smith Patton is, although you may have some setbacks, you can still make a difference in the world. And in this case, his actions will be remembered for generations to come.